here. This week's podcast is entitled UK Royal Family and Media, Psychosis on Global Display, SGUK episode 132. Introduction. Once again, the UK Royal Family and its televised and printed media are devoting something like 87% of their time thinking of ways to control two people who left their roles as senior working royals and moved to another continent to start earning income for themselves. The couple are not taxpayer funded. The target of their incensed behaviour is the female of the duo, as is always the way in misogynistic management style of the UK monarchy. And this has been going on since the moment that the family and its friends in the media were informed that Meghan Markle, a USA citizen, an actress and philanthropist, was in a relationship with Prince Harry, the youngest son of Princess Diana and the current King Charles III. This information was placed into the main domain in June 2016, and for the first 2 years, the racist undertones were building. But at the same time, the thought was that this relationship would not last. One royal expert, member of a group known as the Carnival of Clowns, was bold enough to say out loud and with full conviction that no member of the British royal family would marry an actress, and that this relationship was Harry enjoying a fling, and not someone he would marry. Following the marriage in 2018, the last 6 years have been embarrassing to see. The ramping up of the racist rhetoric and the activity that clearly breached key areas of the law has been left to run riot, as the establishment is so far openly right-wing. I no longer now recognise the country of my birth. I am thankful that I have less years on the planet than I have lived. As a person of colour, I no longer feel that arguing or discourse with people who are in the corridors of power due to wealth, not competency, or the lottery of the birth canal belonging to certain people. Until the population of the UK wake up and realise that a whole list of groups will be targeted one by one, and ethnicity is just the start. One day, most of the population will be corralled into one or more of these targeted groups. Don't wait to be corralled like livestock. Wake up now and recognise the implications of what is on the horizon. The symptoms of psychosis. Psychosis is when people lose some contact with reality. This might involve seeing or hearing things that other people cannot see or hear, hallucinations, and believing things that are not actually true, delusions. It may also involve confused, disordered thinking and speaking. The three main symptoms of psychosis are hallucinations, where a person hears, sees, and in some cases feels, smells, or tastes things that do not exist outside their mind, but can feel very real to the person affected by them. A common hallucination is hearing voices. Delusions, where a person has strong beliefs that are not shared by others. A common delusion is someone believing there's a conspiracy to harm them. Disordered thinking and speaking. A person's thoughts and ideas come very quickly, which can make their speech fast and confusing. The combination of hallucinations and delusional thinking can cause severe distress and a change in behaviour. Cause of psychosis. It's sometimes possible to identify the cause of psychosis as a specific mental health condition, such as schizophrenia, a condition that causes a range of psychological symptoms, including hallucinations and delusions. Bipolar disorder, a mental health condition that affects mood. A person with bipolar disorder can have episodes of low mood, depression, and highs or elated mood, mania. Severe depression. Some people with depression also have symptoms of psychosis when they are very depressed. Psychosis can be triggered by a traumatic experience, stress, drug misuse, alcohol misuse, side effects of prescribed medicine, a physical condition such as a brain tumour or dementia, head injury. Childbirth. How often a psychotic episode occurs and how long it lasts can depend on the underlying cause. A person with grandiose delusions may believe they have power or authority. For example, they may think that they're the president of a country, or they have the power to bring people back from the dead. People who have psychotic episodes are often unaware that their delusions or hallucinations are not real, which may lead them to feel frightened or distressed. 14 years spent dismantling the UK, and the figurehead family is responsible for 8 years of its demolition in full progress. Here are a few extracts from articles and social media posts from approximately 2017 to 2023. There are far more in the article. I'm just going to read out a few for the podcast. I see Operation Media Revenge over lack of access to Meghan's womb is in full force. British media have become bullies and abusers. Seriously, what they seem to forget, they bullied Meghan throughout her entire pregnancy. Harry and Meghan have all the rights to not expose their child to that kind of abuse. I am a British taxpayer. You and your paper do not speak for me. I fully support the choices of the Duke and Duchess of Sussex in how they are managing the media. The sense of entitlement of the British media is nauseating and an embarrassment. Please stop embarrassing the UK. Article in one of the national newspapers in the UK, written by one of the group of royal reporters, where the article not only showed in great detail the inside of the home of the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, but also showed the actual postal address, weeks after a new Nazi plot to kill the Duke for race treason was uncovered. These royal reporters have no integrity. British media have become bullies and abusers, and seriously, what they seem to forget, they bullied Meghan throughout her entire pregnancy. Harry and Meghan have all the rights to not expose their children to that kind of abuse. I am far from being a royalist, but the way media hacks like Sarah Vine and that Dan Wootton are going after Meghan is quite something to witness. These people are the same that would slag Diana off and then cry crocodile tears when she died. What is it about Meghan that they hate? British decline linked to Brexit. Extract from this article in The Independent, dated 16th of May 2024, by David Maddox, political editor. Weak leadership, poor economic management, and Brexit have dragged Britain out of the top 10 countries in a global index on good government. The decline of Britain under the Tories has been charted by the Global Chandler Good Government Index, CGG, which saw it take 11th place. At a time when Rishi Sunak had been under siege from his own Tory MPs, the UK's place on the annual list was made worse by scores for leadership and foresight, putting it in 20th place. It was also hit by coming 27th in the financial stewardship. The findings come amid a report of an exodus by companies from the City of London. Despite Brexit and the fallout of leaving the EU, Britain's position was boosted by coming second in the reputation and global influence category, being only beaten by France. Overall, Singapore came top of the index. However, Brexit hurt the UK badly in its international trade score, with it dropping by 26 places. The report noted that leadership makes an important difference. It stated what public sector leaders decide, do or say impacts public trust in government. Good leaders create and sustain cultures of integrity, competence and service. They have a clear sense of medium and long-term pathways for their government and country. They cultivate the foresight needed to anticipate emerging challenges and opportunities. It scored countries' governments for ethical leadership, long-term vision, adaptability, strategic prioritisation and innovation. Meanwhile, financial stewardship was scored on government debt levels, spending efficiency, budget surplus and risk premium. The UK's global influence score was high, but was harmed by being outside the EU, meaning that its status on international trade had dropped from joint second to 28th. The findings were the conclusion of CGGI's panel of experts and leaders in the world of business and government. They included Dr. Reuben Abraham, Chief Executive of Arthur Global, Elizabeth Anderson, Executive Director of the World Justice Project, Dr. Christian Basin, founder of the Transition Collective, Natalie Delapalme, Chief Executive of the Mo Ibrahim Foundation, Adrian Brown, Executive Director of the Centre for Public Impact, Dr. Ed Alloway O'Care, Vice President at the World Bank, Dr. Manuel Gerardo Flores Romero from the OECD, and Professor Kent Weaver, Professor of Public Policy and Government at Georgetown University. Labour has jumped on the findings as evidence that the political chaos under the Tories and uncertainty surrounding Rishi Sunak's leadership, coupled with the fallout of Liz Truss's mini-budget, have put the UK into decline. Shadow Chief Treasury Secretary Darren Jones said, "These new rankings fly in the face of Rishi Sunak's argument that we are turning the corner. The United Kingdom is a brilliant place with so much potential, but we have been disastrously let down by 14 years of chaos, with 5 Prime Ministers in 7 years, and our economy still reeling from the Tories' bombshell mini-budget. Labour has a real plan to turn the page on this decline. With Keir Starmer's Labour Party, we will spur on a decade of renewal, with strong fiscal rules, a new national wealth fund to make smart, strategic investments in the industries of the future, and public services we can be proud of again. The findings come as Sir Keir Starmer, in effect, launched Labour's election campaign with a top promise of economic stability, in his 6 first steps published on a new pledge card. But Downing Street sources said they found the findings strange and lacking in evidence. A source close to the Prime Minister said, "I would point you to GDP stats and what they showed last week. Joint fastest growth in the G7, one of the best and fastest recoveries since pandemic, Germany and others still in recession, so not sure how the facts tally with their rankings." Headlines stating that Harry and Meghan, or Meghan only, is not welcome in the UK. The same talking heads keep appearing in these headlines like clockwork. In the article, I have given a few direct links to the complete quote, and I've just included a line or two in the article itself. So these particular links are not listed in the reference sources at the end because I'm actually talking about them as I go through the sections and the summaries of the podcast. But as I said, they're all headed up the direct links. So if you look up the article when it's published on the Monday, then if you click on the link, you will see the full article that it comes from and the quote and the particular reporters involved. And as you will see, these are just a few. There are far more when you go onto these links. You will find some of the names cropping up quite a few times. The regulars, you'll know who they are because we see them all the time and they like to hear their own voice. So this is about a Meghan and Harry interview and tabloid racism. And this is from the 8th of March 2021. The Duke of Sussex has said racism from the tabloid press that filtered into the rest of society was a large part of why he and his wife left the UK. There are a few questions listed in the article, but far more, and against each question you will find the answers directly on the link on the website. So these are just 4. Did the UK press have a blatant racial element in Meghan's interview? Why was Meghan Markle's 5th headline removed from the ITV hub? Why is Meghan Markle rethinking her family's UK visit? Does Meghan Markle want to repair the relationship with the royal family? And that last one, just the fact that they immediately assume it's for Meghan to repair the relationship. It's never the other way around. So you can imagine what the rest of that little article is going to be about. This next one is Meghan Markle doesn't feel safe as she ditches UK return. This particular example is a recent one from the 9th of April this year, and it says Meghan Markle doesn't feel safe as she ditches UK return with Prince Harry and kids. My view of that, without me going through the whole article, she was never going to come. She's done with the UK. But this is how royal reporters spin it and remove themselves as being in any way to blame for the fact that Meghan will not set foot in the UK for many years to come, if at all. So when you see that headline, just remember it's written that way to make it look as if it's Meghan that's saying, and it's for her to apologise. Travesty. And then just 2 months before, this is another article with a direct link. It's to the Express, and it was published in February the 12th, 2024. A royal biographer has hit out at Prince Harry and Meghan Markle in an interview, calling the pair poisonous and warning they are not welcome in Britain. And that was speaking on GB News on Sunday. I will say here that when you look at these direct links, whether you do it this week or in weeks to come, you will find many many quotes and articles from royal reporters saying that Meghan in particular, but sometimes it does say both, but it's usually Meghan, is not welcome in the UK. And yet, nearly every day, knowing that they've been printing that and saying that for months, still putting in headlines, will she come, will she not? And you just think all of it is just clickbait to make money from advertising. They could care less about the impact, the emotional impact on the person that they're lying about, as well as the personal people that they're writing about. So this next one is where UK royal reporters truly believe that they're leading the pack of any other reporter who may have an interest in Harry and Meghan when they are abroad. So this one is from last year in May. In the US, the Sussexes are just another celebrity couple. But intense UK tabloid interest means wherever they go, paparazzi will follow. They really, really do think a lot of themselves. But as they are discovering in recent months, and they're going to continue to discover, they're far from that. This is the last one in this section. There are more in the article, but I'm not going to read them all out. It just gives you a flavour. This was from March 2021. A CBS report accused the UK press of having a blatant racial element in its Meghan coverage, as it declined to amend a montage of racist headlines used in the Oprah interview. Oh, another classic from Jan. Harry and Meghan are like two eager limpets sucking nutrients off the rusty hull of the Royal Yacht Britannia. They really, really do think a lot of themselves, and I'm referring here to the royal reporters. This one, I would have a different description for this particular biographer. The heading, Does Tom Bower Want to Damage Meghan Markle and Prince Harry? And the bullet point is, the respected biographer, which I don't agree with that, respected, but anyway, it says that, the respected biographer, Tom Bower, has been giving some extraordinary interviews about his new study of Meghan Markle and Prince Harry. His book, the calmly entitled Revenge, is not merely, we learn, a comprehensively negative assessment of the couple. Bower would like it actively to damage them. Hate for hire business model. A Labour MP has accused the British press of monetising online hatred of the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. Rhondda MP Chris Bryant said newspapers had filled their online sites with hateful Meghan Markle material. It is becoming their richest clickbait scene. It drives viewing and earns advertising income, he said. He made the comments in a speech introduced by Hugh Grant at the annual Levson Lecture External held by press reform group Hacked Off. Mr. Bryant said the monetary incentive was why so many British opinion writers penned so much drivel about the couple. Not because the story matters, it doesn't. Not because the writers genuinely cares about it, they don't. But because it makes money, he said. That is not journalism. It is a perversion of journalism, and it means, yet again, the press see people and their lives as commodities to be traded. Mr. Bryant said one of the main reasons for the prevalence of hatred in media coverage were social media algorithms and the type of content they promote. He said the algorithms nudge people to political extremes. They promote division and they pervert the truth by creating an incentive for untruth. Far from caring about the harmful impact of algorithms, social media companies and their allies and competitors in the press rely on them, I think, to make money. Coordinated, deliberate hate. Mr. Bryant said analysis by data firm Bot Sentinel showed just 83 Twitter accounts were responsible for 70% of the negative content targeted at the royal couple. To the innocent bystander, it looks like the whole world hated Harry and Meghan. But this is just not normal, spontaneous, or altruistic hatred. It is coordinated and deliberate. It uses social media recommender systems to amplify hatred. Like clickbait, it uses hatred to entice people to follow a link to an article on another client web page where money is to be made, which is how it knowingly monetizes hatred. There are links to interesting topics of discussions that we've had over the years. One of them is about the Vogue cover and the choice of the women on the front cover, and comments by royal reporters. As you can imagine, there were not enough white people, that kind of content. I'm not going to read it out, but I remember it all. I'm sure you do as well, but you may want to have a reminder of that. And there's a few from Sarah Vine as well. Just bitter. I can't even call them journalists, individuals, and the way that they try and twist and absolve themselves of any responsibility for the kind of reputation that the UK is now developing by the day. The British royal family is not well. No wonder their minds work overtime, worrying about what the two non-working royals are doing or are going to do next, and how it is deliberately timed to cause the UK monarchy problems. The sheer arrogance and caucasity to think that Harry and Meghan are concerned about what any member of the British royal family think of their activities. Harry and Meghan were told numerous times to leave the UK, and the 8-year Hate for Hire campaign against them is now evident for the international community to see for themselves. Every week that goes by, the proof is provided by the monarchy or their pals that Harry and Meghan's conclusions about their treatment by the British royal family is true. Proof provided by the monarch or the next in line or people working on their behalf. Clear as day. The implications of the state of health of the current monarch and the next in line. The Regency Act 1937 also established in law a procedure for determining the incapacity of the sovereign due to infirmity of mind or body. When a declaration of incapacity is under the Regency Act, a regency is established and the royal functions are transferred from the sovereign to the next in line of succession, namely Prince William, the Prince of Wales. Clear signs of mental health issues existing and decisions being made relating to actions against the non-taxpayer funded couple, rather than the issues of the United Kingdom, which should be the priority. It appears that the majority of time and resources is spent on ways to punish and control Prince Harry and force him back to the UK. I say it's around 87%, which is shocking. 10% is focused on performative pomp and ceremony and paintings and footage of historical moments for future generations to admire and read about. Cost is not a factor. Creating history is the guiding force for the monarch. 3% of time appears to be devoted to matters of state. This state of affairs cannot continue for much longer. Conclusions. The British royal family do not have control of Prince Harry and Princess Meghan since April 2020. This 8-year hate campaign is being documented too, and future generations will have the opportunity to find out what took place here in the UK, particularly since the 1990s. Inside palace walls, the place seems to run like a plantation, and people having to be on the right side of the senior royals if they wish to remain involved with Crown business. It is run like a slave plantation, and the very idea that in 2024 there is still talk of forcing Prince Harry to do this and that, farcical and deluded. It is a cult, but one that UK taxpayers fund. Children born into cults have no scope for independent thought and aspirations. Child protection services would be knocking on the doors of working class people for minimal practices in such an institution. But because it is the royal family, everyone turns a blind eye. That is down to 100% indoctrination. As things stand, less than a third of the population of the UK are royalists, and most of those are the age group of most of the current combination of working royals. Nature will no doubt take care of that support base over the coming years. All the clutching of pearls about visas and Prince Harry will never force him to return to the UK to be a footstool for unstable and undeserving people. The days of spares and the inherent abuse will end in the future. Should that day ever come, that all the Sussex family are forced to leave the USA because of the shenanigans of the Heritage Foundation and similar links within the UK, there is a level of delusion that is beyond embarrassing. Modern-day slavery is not sanctioned, and I am certain the UK is the last place the Sussex family would choose to reside. Taking their home away from them was a low blow even for the monarchy. But history books will be explicit about what really went on and why. Prince Harry is no one's footstool. The amount of time and resources spent on trying to break this couple and force them back to be the chew toy of the royal family and its royal reporters is shameful, and will result in yet another example to add to the growing list of petty and narcissistic behaviour which will fail. Please remember that even if the majority of the UK hate Harry and Meghan, it is based upon a hate-for-hire model and ties in with the Brexit vote in 2016. The country is now circling the drain. The UK is now known for being racist and extreme right-wing. No matter what fictional reports were published recently, that was written with political bias. The state of the UK over the last 14 years, because of those right-wing views, and the number of discussions held in the media using rhetoric that would not have been acceptable not too long ago, shows how far down the slippery slope the UK has fallen. All the contrived polls mean nothing to anyone outside of the UK, possibly with the exception of a few countries amounting to a single figure. Even the royal mouthpieces have openly said that there is no love for black Commonwealth countries. We knew that already. Carry on. You are dismantling a once thriving nation which is now circling the drain of life. The UK is but a dot on the landscape, and the world has seen the underbelly now of what UK officials think of anyone who is not white. The Commonwealth exists because the UK is trying to cling to days of empire. Let it go. The treatment of Meghan since 2016 and the concerted campaign of nasty and evil content proved the real nature of the rota, and it is a malignant, self-serving entity. People of colour from around the world view the UK royal family in a different light now, and it will never return to how it used to be. You both exist because the establishment needs you there. The country does not. The UK deserves better, and as I mentioned earlier, nature will take care of that situation over the next few years. That's the end of this week's podcast, considerably shorter than the last three. As I said, there's more information in the article, but I've tried to keep the actual verbal part of it down to a minimum this week. Look forward to your comments on Sunday night onwards. So it's bye from me, bye from Ivy, bye.
Walking round in circles, wondering where to start this long overdue conversation. Why we're falling apart, awake, tossing and turning, one more endless fight. Since I heard you were talking to someone else last night, thank you for making it easy to leave. Thank you for letting me know how I feel. It's the hard